There's a hole in Earth's gravitational field beneath the Western Hemisphere. Not a model error, not instrument noise. Confirmed by 2 independent satellite systems running on different physics. The data proving it sat in a NASA archive for nearly 18 years. Nobody flagged it. Nobody published it. Until August 2025, when a research team ran new analysis on that archive. What they pulled out wasn't a prediction about something coming. It was a record of something already done. The GRACE mission launched in 2002. 2 satellites in low orbit. NASA and Germany's Aerospace Center built it to map Earth's gravitational pull from space. Every shift in density below moved those satellites slightly closer or farther apart. Over 15 years, that logged the most detailed gravitational map Earth had ever produced. If you've been waking up around 3 in the morning or felt pressure behind your eyes with no explanation, some people near the anomaly zone have reported that same pattern. The inner ear tracks gravitational and magnetic orientation before the conscious mind registers anything. In 2025, a team at JPL ran new analysis on the GRACE archive spanning 18 years. What they found was a gravitational low at the deepest layer of this planet. Not the surface, not the crust, 3,000 kilometers down. The layer where Earth's solid rock meets its liquid iron core. That layer wasn't supposed to change on any timescale a human could observe. The consensus before August 2025 said it couldn't. ESA's SWARM mission logged a simultaneous magnetic event in the same region 2 months later. 2 independent instruments. Same location, same time frame, same anomaly. That's not coincidence. That's corroboration. JPL's public statement on the finding called it a refinement of existing gravitational models. A standard update. That's the framing in their official release. Here's what the filed data actually shows. The gravitational field over a 400-kilometer zone logged a structural reorganization. That zone covers airspace and ocean routes that U.S. military navigation depends on. GPS-3 satellites operated by the Space Force are calibrated to Earth's gravitational field. The calibration model in use predates this anomaly by years. This isn't the first satellite archive to hide something this large. The Maud subglacial basin sits at 65 degrees south, 0 longitude, in East Antarctica. 231 confirmed liquid lakes exist beneath the ice sheet there. The Maud channel was formally published on January 15, 2026. It runs 400 kilometers long and 50 meters deep, with a 6-kilometer width, active. Draining ice into the Weddell Sea. For 25 years, that channel was detectable in the archived satellite data. Nobody published it. Nobody filed an alert. The gravity anomaly sat for 18 years. 2 archives, 2 agencies, the same silence. If you've stayed with this, here's the part that reframes everything before it. This has been framed as a discovery, a scientific finding. Not a discovery, it's a correction. The shift in Earth's deep field happened between 2017 and 2019. GRACE logged its final data in 2017. The analysis confirmed the shift was complete by then. For 7 years, every system calibrated to Earth's gravitational baseline ran on a wrong map. GPS satellites, ballistic guidance systems, submarine navigation charts. Let's be specific about what GPS calibration means in practice. GPS-3 is operated by the U.S. Space Force, calibrated to gravitational models from NGA. NGA's baseline for that model drew from GRACE data processed before 2017. After August 2025, there's no public record of an emergency recalibration order. Nothing published, nothing announced. No updated model filed to any public registry. Operational satellites are still flying the old map. The Space Force's official position describes GPS calibration as continuous and ongoing. Their documentation says Field model updates are part of standard operations. Here's what the update timeline shows. Standard recalibration follows a fixed cycle. It doesn't trigger automatically on anomaly publication. A recalibration triggered by a new anomaly requires a formal operational finding and security review. No public finding has been filed in the month since the August 2025 paper. Either the review is classified or the recalibration hasn't happened. Now here's what's documented at the surface. Norfolk Naval Station, Virginia, the largest naval base on the planet. The Navy has committed $4 billion to flood adaptation infrastructure there. That plan and FEMA's East Coast flood maps were both built on Antarctic bedrock baselines. The January 15, 2026 paper on the MOD channel confirmed those baselines were already outdated. Subglacial drainage has been accelerating glacial flow into the Weddell Sea for years. The flood projections don't account for it. The $4 billion plan doesn't either. Norfolk is already experiencing flooding on clear days with no storm explanation. NOAA's public explanation for accelerated East Coast flooding is natural variability. Their published statements cite ocean heat cycling and storm frequency patterns. Here's what the MOD data shows. That channel was active for years before anyone published it as a finding. Those years overlap exactly with the period NOAA described as natural variability. The explanation predated the cause being in the public record. There's a third layer that the published papers don't address directly. ESA's swarm satellites logged a geomagnetic event in the same zone as the gravity anomaly. NOAA's magnetic archive extends back 180 years. Every major field shift ever recorded is in that archive. Logged, dated, filed. The 2025 event had no comparable entry. 0. In 180 years, the human body uses magnetic field orientation for sleep cycle regulation, not speculation, published in Sleep Medicine Research. If your sleep shifted in late 2025 or early 2026, without a life change to explain it, there's a documented physiological pathway connecting geomagnetic disruption to circadian phase shifts. The researchers didn't publish that connection, but the mechanism is in the literature. Some things are documented in journals nobody thinks to read in the same week. Here's what the timeline actually shows. The shift completed before 2017. Not approaching. Already done. You've been navigating wrong for years. Not might be. Already are. The paper came out in August 2025. 8 years after the event it describes. So here's what nobody has filed an official statement about. 2 separate archives, 2 agencies, decades of undisclosed data. One connects to every flood projection behind every coastal city plan in this country. Another connects to the gravitational baseline behind every navigational system this military depends on. Both published quietly. Both framed as routine corrections. Ask yourself what's still in those archives, and ask yourself who decides when you're allowed to know. Keep watching what gets framed as routine.